Hi everyone, it's Holly Marie King, and we're here to do Chapter 6 of The Confusing Kidnap. So, let's get started. Chapter 6, Another Town, Another Fight. So, are you coming because you want to get rid of your wives? Ellen asked the two men. Andrew looked offended. How dare you? I love my wife, and my father loves my mother, he yelled. Yeah, whatever. Can you let me see her? I bet she's hot stuff, John said, rubbing his hands together. Now 5 people began to fight. And for the record, in the final draft, John is not a creepy idiot, so that's good to know. Helen sighed, annoyed. She was hanging back again, and she didn't want to be around these people. Allison walked around on the branches. Do you miss home? Reggie asked. Helen stared at the ground as she shook her head. No, she said quietly. She misses the house, don't you? Allison asked. Those boys of yours. Helen examined her feet. No. Natalie walked next to Helen. Oh dear, the poor girl is lonely, she said. Helen looked up at the old woman. You are a wise old woman, aren't you? Because, knowing that makes you wise, yep. Yes, she is. She's the best, Reggie said happily, putting an arm around his wife. Oh, yeah, well, you can stick a fork in it, John yelled. Andrew tackled John. The two rolled around, punching and kicking at each other like wild animals. Burke jumped in. But where was Andrew's demon? Where is Andrew's demon? Helen asked Reggie. She is shy and does not like fighting. Plus, she only ever listens to Andrew's words. He is fair, but he doesn't like it when men stare. He's very protective of her. Or jealous, Reggie answered. Okay, old man, where's the next clue? Allison asked. Natalie spoke up. Oh, dear. The next demon bear is a writer, she said. Great. Let me guess. After that, we have to find an illustrator, Allison moaned. Helen marched over to the 5 figures arguing. That's enough, she shouted. Everyone stopped and stared except the 2 boys that continued to fight. She grabbed Andrew's arm and kicked John away. I said that was enough. I am sick of your fighting. We all have a long journey. I can't take this anymore. That made everyone step back a couple inches. Oh, she's no longer crying. She's angry. Now, John, maybe the fact Andrew doesn't want you to see his wife is because he doesn't want people to treat her differently from other demons. John looked around for support, but frowned none. Helen pulled Andrew closer. And you, let your wife free. She can make her own choices, and if you think she's so beautiful, you should be proud to be seen with her. Helen turned to Ellen. You two, stop trying to make trouble because you're the one that has started most of them. And then, Rosie, you need to decide to be mellow and what you decide to be like because I have no idea how you work. Then there's you, Burke. You are getting better with that temper of yours, and I thank you for that. Burke bowed. But you still do not help as much as you could. And Allison, would you please stop complaining? I know you don't like good-hearted things, and I have a feeling most everyone knows that too. She let go of Andrew. Well, that came out of nowhere. Allison nodded in agreement. It was only fair for grouchy Helen to lose her cool. The two walked on ahead. Natalie, would you please lead the way to the next town? And everyone else, please get the lead out, Helen said, not turning around. Everyone followed obediently, not wanting to anger her more. We're here, Natalie said, stopping on a hillside. Could we stop for the night? I'm bushed, Ellen said, yawning. Helen nodded with a smile. Won't the demons take over? John asked. More than likely, Helen said. She walked a couple feet away and slept on a rock. She cried. She felt even more lonely, and it was all her fault, too. Allison stroked Helen's hair lovingly. It's okay. You have been traveling long and hard. I think we should all rest tonight, so even the demons have rest. I know I'm tired, and I had a nap, Allison said soothingly. Helen continued to cry. I guess I was wrong. She's still been a crybaby. Okay. Here, this ought to soothe her. A beautiful maiden with golden flowing hair and dazzling blue eyes sat down next to the 2 girls. She sang a beautiful melody that first soothed everyone, then the melody put them all to sleep. Helen woke up before everyone else. It was foggy out for the early morning. She looked out from the hill and saw nothing. Helen, Where did you go? Allison asked. I'm right over here, don't worry. Besides, I think it's time to wake the others and head out, Helen said. Allison disappeared into the fog. She came back with the other 4 people, who yawned and stretched in their sleepy state. Come on, we have to move so we can get a head start, Helen said as Allison dissolved into thin air. Now it's going to be the people in the fog. I bet that's where we're going with this. So, how do you expect us to find someone in this fog? John asked haughtily. Oh, John got some toot on him. Well, I think it's better than waiting here for the people behind us to catch up and kill us, Helen said, hands on hips. Because everyone's giving each other a toot. Helen snorted. So, let them catch up. We'll invite them for tea, she said. John laughed. It's true. They are coming to harm us. If we don't get into town soon, they'll come after us, Andrew said nervously, because you're a little bitch. What are you talking about? John asked. Have you ever heard about the people in the fog? Reggie asked. Yes, but that's just a myth, Ellen said. It isn't, Andrew said, turning his back to the group. How do you know? John said. You don't have any proof, Ellen said. Wouldn't our dead wives be proof enough? Reggie asked. He sighed, looking very old, because that was exhausting to explain that. Can we please go? Helen asked nervously. She could feel the people pressing in closer. Ellen, John, and Reggie began to slide down the hill. Andrew stood still, looking very depressed. Come on, Andrew, we have to go. No. I have nothing to live for, Andrew said. I always have to do that with some sort of character. In every rough draft. It's like a disease. Helen sighed, the anxious feeling of having to leave made Helen feel drastic. Your father needs you, she said. When he dies, then what do I have? Helen put her hands on Andrew's arms. He looked down at her. He could feel Helen shaking with fear. Well, no one knows what the prophecy is like at that very end, but the last possessed person. So, if you continue to come with us, you could save your wife, Helen exclaimed. The 2 heard the soft crunch of grass under the feet of the people coming closer and closer. So what do you say? Come with us. Helen would not leave Andrew's side, even if it meant death. She would not leave a friend behind, because you know him so well. Andrew twirled Helen around so she was on his right, and he now had Helen's arm. He pulled her out of the reach of the creatures in the fog. The 2 slid down the slope together. The creatures only walked silently, unless you angered them. They ran for the safety of the town, Andrew pushing Helen a couple inches ahead of him as they ran. Helen tripped and twisted her ankle. They had to stop. A tear rolled down Helen's cheek. I'm sorry. I can't run anymore. Why do I have her cry so much? Plus that Helen cries like, I don't know, 2 or 3 times in the final draft, but she's oh freaking peas, lady. Get a grip. It's a twisted ankle. You can keep going. Come on, we're not done yet. Andrew picked Helen up over his shoulder and ran. Helen screamed when she saw the creatures close behind. They reached the thin part of the fog. When they came to the town, the creatures stopped. There you are! We've been looking everywhere for you! Ellen hollered, running over. John and Reggie weren't too far behind. Andrew put Helen down, supporting her as she stood. My son, I thought you were dead! Reggie had tears in his eyes as he hugged his son. So emotional. Careful, Dad. Helen is hurt, but no need to worry. She saved me, Andrew said. Helen smiled sweetly and motioned to Reggie that she didn't want a hug at that moment in time. So sweet. Well, we have to move on. Reggie, where can we find the next possessed person? John asked. This way. Reggie led the way. Andrew picked Helen up backpack style. I hope you don't mind, Helen said, concerned. I don't mind. I used to carry Maria around like this all the time, Andrew said happily. The group moved timidly around town. This is the place, Reggie said. Before they even knocked on the door, it opened. A woman stepped out. I've been waiting for you all to get here. I thought you wouldn't make it. Come on. You don't want to stay out there, do you? The girl disappeared into the house, and the group followed. Okay, so that is the end of Chapter 6. Now, granted, I did laugh a lot of this one, but it's just because I think it's funny. I am taking this seriously. I just think it's funny. cry so much. Why did I do that? Anyway, if anyone has any questions on the book, you can always ask me, and I will be more than happy to answer the questions. So leave a comment if you have any questions. And also in the description, I will put a place where you can buy this book if you are interested. Not this particular book because it's the rough draft, but the actual better version of this book as the final draft. So anyway, I hopefully will see you guys later. Bye.